What is up, you guys? Sorry, I was just making sure that my that you guys could actually hear me. I wasn't sure if like where the sound was or wasn't coming from. So hello, how are you? It's almost Friday. It is raining here in San Diego today, and I am just like, I don't want to do anything today, which sounds so terrible. But I think we all have one of those days, right? We all have those days where it's rainy, you just kind of want to take a nap all day. Nothing really wants to get done. I'm still chugging away at things, but I think we all have those days, right? I think the rainy days just kind of make it worse because you're kind of just like, oh, I want to be snuggly and stay in my bed and not do anything. So I did want to pop in here and talk about developing mastery within your goals and developing mastery within your health and what you want to accomplish during the week and just during your day and during your journey as well. Because I think sometimes we forget that when it comes to health, a lot of us, we have evolved as humans. So innately, our journey towards health is not like what it used to be, if you were still a cave person, right? Like it obviously is not going to be you hunting for survival and like building huts and doing things like that. Obviously we have evolved a lot as a species over the years, and so we have kind of lost this survival mechanism, if that makes sense, where we now have a decently comfortable, most of us have a very decently comfortable way of life, and we can just go to a grocery store and go pick up whatever it is that we want. We don't have to go out and hunt for food. We don't have to go out and scavenge for food. And so obviously we now have to basically relearn how to take care of ourselves, right? We have to learn how to manage our weight. We have to learn how to manage how much and how often we eat, because it's not a search for survival anymore. It's kind of like most of us live pretty comfortably, where if we need something, we go to the grocery store that's a few blocks away and we can drive there in a car. We don't have to walk hundreds of miles. We don't have to do a lot of the things that our ancestors had to do anymore. So we have to kind of retrain ourselves on how we view our health and our wellness and our goals just in general with our bodies. So I think what happens is when you find yourself in a position of being overweight, or you feel like you're in a position of like you're not at your healthiest state, if you will, where you don't really feel that comfortable in your body, your clothes aren't fitting very well, your energy levels are pretty low, you find yourself eating out a lot, eating a lot of junk food, things along those lines, we tend to kind of view our progress as very wide, right? Where we're kind of being very surface level, trying a lot of different things for a very short amount of time to kind of see what sticks, throwing a lot of ideas at the wall, trying to figure out, what is going to be the one that, does it for me? What's going to be the one that sticks? What's going to be the one that gets me the results that I'm looking for? So instead of going wide, we actually need to go deep, which sounds so gross, but it's true. Instead of going really broad with your spectrum of the amount of things that you're trying, the different diets, different fads, different workout programs, things along those lines, you do need to be like, you need to go deep into something. You need to really dig into something. Otherwise, you're going to be a mile wide and only an inch deep. Like, have you guys ever heard that saying? Being a mile wide, but only an inch deep. So the way you can kind of think about it is if you're trying to make progress on something, let's say using the same reference, like you're digging a ditch and the ditch needs to be 100 feet deep and a mile wide. Are you going to start digging down and then work your way across? Or are you going to dig an inch deep and go the full mile? You don't really get that much progress when you're only going an inch deep, but you're just like going. And so you can only achieve mastery in one or two things. Like, I don't want you guys to feel like you need to master 100 different things, right? Like, you don't need to go and master 500 different things, 500 different workouts, 500 different nutrition labels. Like, you don't need to go and figure out 100 different things when it comes to achieving your health and wellness. Like, you can master one or two things and get the goals that you want to get and not have to worry about figuring out 1,000 different things on this journey. I think we have had this pressure. I talk about pressure a lot with you guys because I feel like, again, as a society, we have put a lot of pressure on women to, look a certain way, be a certain way, behave a certain way, if you will. And I hope that we can eventually kind of drift away from that and just focus more on overall like bodily health and like you just being a healthy person and not having these like, oh, you need to be this size, you need to look this way, like this is the like standard of beauty, you know what I mean? Like I don't agree with those things at all. I think we just should really more so focus on overall health. Like, are you a healthy person? Like that's what we need to focus on. Like, are you a healthy individual? And if you're not, how can we get you there? Like, what can we teach you to help you develop the tool set that you need to be able to become that healthy, like the healthiest individual that you can possibly be? And so I think there's a lot of, like, again, talking about pressure a lot. I think that there's a lot of pressure to, have everything figured out, that we need to be able to do things like that, right? Like we need to have everything figured out. There should be no questions. Why don't you understand? Why aren't you learning faster? You should be there by now. You've tried 100 different programs. Why haven't you done it yet? I think there's just so much pressure, not only that we put on ourselves, but I think that everyone else around us puts on us as well. So to kind of like put it into perspective. So as you guys know, we just moved. Our new neighbors are amazing. One of our neighbors, she texted me and asked if I would help, if Jeff and I would help her move a treadmill into her house. And I know that she's married. I know that she has kids. Her kids are super cute. And Jeff and I were kind of like, oh, like I wonder why her husband isn't going to help her. Like, that's really weird that she would ask us. But like it did not mention like, oh yeah, he's going to help you guys move the treadmill into the house also. Like, oh, he's going to be there or he'll be at work so he can't help me. Like nothing of that. She's just like, oh yeah, can you guys help me? And come to find out that her husband was kind of like, no, like you do not need to purchase this. Like you have done so many things. You haven't figured it out yet. Like, why are you buying a treadmill? Like, why are you doing this? And as much as I somewhat understand his point of view of like, okay, cool, like you're spending money and like obviously treadmills are like those are an investment. The treadmills are pretty expensive, especially if you buy like new ones, like the Peloton ones, like they're expensive, right? And there's a lot that comes with them. But at the same time, it's like, why wouldn't you encourage your wife to be healthy? Like, why wouldn't you foster a healthier environment for her to thrive in, to help her feel supported on this journey and not just making her feel like she's making the wrong decisions because you don't support her? Like, so that's kind of where like my suspicion lies, right? So I'm like, like, why aren't you fostering a healthier environment for her to find the best way to take care of herself? Because obviously what she's tried already, hasn't been the right fit. It hasn't been what she feels is going to help her be the healthiest version of herself. And she has not followed through for who knows whatever reason, right? She hasn't followed through. And so like, why are you not fostering a healthier environment for her to have that success and be able to be healthy and be able to do these things? You know what I mean? Sorry. I have something stuck in my throat today and I'm just like, it's the rain, man. It's like making me super tired. It's like the rain. I just want to go like nap in my bed. And so again, I don't want you guys to feel this pressure that you have to have everything figured out. Like you're not allowed to ask questions. Like, why haven't you done it yet? Like you should not feel that way. Like you're going to have questions. Like that's normal. It's normal. Like you can't know everything. So that's why I'm talking about you're going to have mastery in one or two things. And you need to do those things, those one or two things, very, very well. And if you tack on down the road a few extra things on your tool belt that you're like decently good at, hooray. Focus on what you're good at. Focus on what you can do with your time and your knowledge and your availability. And you're going to have to foster that environment for yourself. So you're going to find those one or two things that you're really, really good at. And that's going to be what you're good at. And that's completely okay. And what you are really good at may be different from what someone else is really, really good at. We're all different. It's okay to be different. It is okay to not be good at things that other people are also good at. When you start to play that comparison game and you start to look at, oh, well, why is she really good at that, but I'm not? Why are they really good at doing this, but I'm not good at doing this? Focus on what you are good at. Everyone is kind of given, like, have you ever meet those kids that are like, oh, this person is like just super good at math. They just get math. Like my sister's that way. Like my sister just looks at numbers and she's like, yes, got it. And my brain just goes, no. Like when I look at numbers, like nothing happens. Like there is no, like there's nothing going on behind the screen, right? There's nothing going on back there. And so like, I'm not envious of her. I am not envious that she is naturally and innately better at math than me. I'm like, good for you, do your thing. That is not what I feel like I'm good at. I'm just not going to even try to go in that direction because I know that like when my brain looks at numbers, there is nothing going on back here. There is just nothing. I am innately good at, I guess, sports usually. I used to be really good at sports, right? So like athleticism, I really enjoy like history. I really enjoy learning about the past. Like I love like those things I'm very, very drawn to. The things that you are good at with mastery, you are going to have that kind of like natural draw, right? Like you're going to have things in your life that you're like, oh yeah, I'm really, really like I'm super drawn to this one thing. I'm super drawn to this one topic. I'm super drawn to this one activity because like like even if you don't know, like your brain knows, you know what I mean? Like you're going to have things that you are very, very drawn to. And that's what you need to kind of lean into. That is what you need to kind of accept as like, okay, cool. Like these are going to be the couple of things that I'm going to master. And again, I don't want you to look at other people and say, well, why is she good at this, but like I'm not? Because you're not the same person. You are not the same person as that other person. You are your own individual. You have your own things that you have going on in your life. You are not this person. Stop looking at what everybody else is doing and what everybody else is good at and just focus on your own shit. Focus on you. Do your thing. Stop looking at what everybody else is doing and why is she better at me than this? Why is she getting results faster? Do your own damn thing. Stop looking at what everybody else is doing because who the fuck cares? No one cares. I don't care what anybody else is doing. I worry about what I'm doing in my life and what is going to move my needle forward. Me watching what everybody else is doing does literally nothing for me. That does not make me a better person if I'm like watching everybody else, if I'm judging everybody else, if I'm trying to figure out what they're doing. That does not move my needle forward. That does not benefit my life in any way. It does not give me more knowledge. It does not give me more time. It does not give me an advantage over anyone. So who cares? Focus on yourself. Do your own thing. Be able to educate yourself, learn how you enjoy learning. Like, everyone is like super into audiobooks right now. Like everyone and their mom that I know is like, oh yes, audiobooks. Like we'll go on Audible, we listen to podcasts, we do all these things, And I think sometimes people kind of feel pressured of like, oh wow, I see that everybody is like really, really getting into audiobooks and everyone's getting really into this. And this is kind of like the new fad, right? But like you're a book reader. So why wouldn't you just keep reading books? Like don't feel peer pressure to be like, oh, well, I see that everyone's like super into Audible now. So I feel like I need to go download Audible and like stop reading books and go listen to books because like everyone else is telling me like how good it is. Who the fuck cares? No one cares. Just do what you like to do. Do your thing. Worry about yourself. That is going to make life for you so much easier if you worry about what's going on in your own life and you do your own thing and you work on your own mastery. Your life is going to get so much better because you're not going to be worrying about all of the chaos that's surrounding you. You're not going to be worried about all the other shit that everybody else is doing. You're going to be worried about yourself and obviously like your family and like, important people that like you really care about, obviously. But you're not going to have all of these distractions and like all of this chaos that is surrounding you. You're not going to have that anymore. So it's going to free up a lot of mental space for you to be able to kind of do your own thing and work on your mastery and work on what you want to accomplish. And it's just going to open the door for a lot more opportunities for you And it's going to eliminate a lot of the distractions that I know a lot of you guys feel, because it's so easy to get sucked into social media and TikTok and, work and drama. And it's so easy to get sucked into those things. And all of a sudden, like 3 hours has passed and you're still watching the same damn YouTube video, or you're scrolling through TikTok or whatever you're doing. You're watching some drama unfold on Facebook and you're reading all these comments. Like, I know everyone's guilty of that, right? Like, we've all been there. We're like, ooh, like reading all this shit, right? So just make sure that you're eliminating the distractions as much as you can, because that's going to open the door for a lot of additional learning for you. And it's just going to make things so much easier if you just stop watching what everybody else is doing. It's going to make life so much better for you, I promise. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this kind of opened the door for you and kind of opened your eyes a little bit as to, the distractions that you have going on in your life and kind of what energy you were allowing to kind of be around you, if that makes sense, or kind of be in your life. So maybe it's time for a life audit. It might be time for an audit to sit down and figure out, where energy is being spent, where is your time being spent, what are you watching, what are you consuming, what are you reading. Maybe it's time for a little audit. So if you have time, well, actually not if, when you will have time, you're going to do this, is you're going to sit down and you need to do a life audit. You need to figure out what you're consuming, what you're watching, what you're looking at, where you're scrolling on social media. And I think it's going to open the door for you for a lot of things that are going to open your eyes and be like, oh, I'm spending a lot of time doing that. And that's like a huge waste of time. And I'm kind of just like twiddling on my phone, and I should not be doing that. So let me know how that life audit goes. Not if. It's going to be do it. Like, you need to do it. Let me know how that goes. Let me know if that was kind of an eye-opener for you, if you were spending time doing things that you probably should not be spending time, where things are kind of, a little bit more of a time waster. Let me know how that goes, and I will talk to you guys soon. You guys have made it to Friday. So, all right. Have a good weekend, guys. Bye.